Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A late kickoff, obviously, with a rearranged a game against Chelsea. One that we were very much looking forward to. Obviously, Chelsea in a big poor run of form at the minute, and really one that we should be taking. We weren't good tonight. It was a very strange game. Obviously, we'll break that down. Thanks for joining us, guys. Get your comments in, get liking, get subscribing. Stu, Freddie, thank you very much, boys, for joining me. This is the penultimate game. We will be looking forward to getting the season over and done with, but top four is sealed. Stu, how are you doing, buddy? And how are you feeling after that?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm happy. You know, at the end of the day, people were whinging and moaning about how bad we were playing, etc., and that Chelsea should be 3, 4, 5 goals up. But hey, guess what? You don't fucking hit the onion bag. It's an irrelevance. You can have as many chances as you like, but if the ball don't cross that white line at the back of the net, it doesn't matter. Yes. And that's what football's all about. And today we proved that football was about just getting across the line, and we did. I like the way Chelsea played. I saw tweets. There's a couple of group messages saying that Chelsea were rubbish, etc., etc. You know, come on, guys, get your head out of the sand. You've got to understand that Chelsea are a decent side. They're a good side.
They are. And listen, we can give them all the, it's easy for us to criticise. You know, we've had a good season, all in all. Chelsea have had a massive fall from grace. Have had new ownership. That's going to come from us, by the way. So a bit of a moment of clarity for us, perhaps, when we're trying to change hands and everything. It's easy for us to go in, and
I think it is. You know, you've got players there that don't understand the Premier League. If you look at his squad tonight, the first 11, we know that these were mainly signings that came in the summer and January, etc. But you know, you've got to gel. It takes time to gel. When you go to Old Trafford, we haven't conceded there in what was it, 6?
Yeah, first game in 11 hours.
It's amazing, that result, considering. And they looked dangerous, and they came to play football. They didn't come and sit behind, and you've got to give credit to Chelsea for that. But they got nothing to play for at the same time. So for us, it was a difficult game. It was always a dodgy game, because when you're playing against a team a little bit like Bournemouth, it haven't really got a lot to play for. It becomes a bit of a non-event as a football match, and it was a bit of a non-event as a football match. Our second goal was phenomenal. It was quite ironic, really, because in the group chat, one or two players are saying Sancho was rubbish, and then 30 seconds later, you know, he pops.
I did see that, and you know what? It's not the weekly armchair group chat. No, it's another one. But anyway, you're absolutely right. It was funny.
Mark. Yeah, an interesting thing about that, Mark, was that Casemiro does the no-look pass. Okay. It's been done many times before.
You take it and leave it. Do you know what I mean? Like, people just find the sort of fluffiness and everything.
Like, well, the no-look pass arc. You know, I did one Sunday against England. You know, but I did. The thing is, though, guys, I didn't mean to do it. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to somebody else, and the ball kind of like, it was like one of those. You know,
who did you do it against?
We played England over 50s national team.
Did you?
Yeah, and charity.
Do you know what, Stu? You always give it the big one, and hear me out for a second. You always give it the big one, and I'm always sort of jeering you up and all this, and we're all getting excited about it. But fair play to you, brother. That's great. That's great.
Yeah. So
but you did a no look, so fuck them.
Well, it wasn't really. It was a bit of a no look, but it wasn't planned as a no look, if you know what I mean. It just happened. And
what is it? Is it walking football, Stu?
Well, no, it was Zimmer frame football. It was. The best thing was.
Sorry,
honestly, the best thing was. Do you remember? No, you're right. No, you're right, Freddie. Do you remember years ago the old Carlsberg advert with the dog and duck, and then the England World Cup players came out? Do you remember that advert?
Vaguely, yeah.
He's too young, isn't he? He's too young.
We strolled up 45 minutes before kickoff, as you do, and they were already changed. And they came out in the 1966 replica kit, and it just reminded me of that advert. They're all got grey hair and stuff like that. But we were deep into the second half, and this rather large black fella came on, bald head. Looked rather familiar, and it was Dion Dublin's brother, his older brother. And I was marking him. The thing is, though, Mark, it was like I had to look up at the guy. He was huge, absolutely huge. And
Poor Kai, he thinks he's coming to the wrong show, doesn't he? But anyway, let's get back.
Can you imagine?
Getting back to
I walk in and
the match.
I walk in and the first thing I hear is, there was this tall black dude. I was like, wait, which one?
And anyway, so that was something. It was a charity match, so we raised some money for spina bifida and things like that.
That's amazing. Well, I'll tell you what, Stu. After the show, obviously being a charity match, put some details in the comments and get people on board, and obviously anyone watching the show donate.
That was great. It was good fun. But anyway, back to the game. Back to the important thing. It was just one of those games. And once we got the third, the fourth was always going to come. And then the fifth should have come, the sixth should have come, the seventh should have come. But I like the way that Chelsea plays. And anyone who says that, Chelsea on a decent side, you really need to start looking at exactly what football's all about.
They're just missing some very big players, I think.
Yeah.
If they get, Silva wasn't playing tonight. He's top three in the league. Him, Martinez, and Stones. I think for me this season, top three centre backs in the league. Probably Saliba. I really think that without him, they were. I was trying to be objective, and with four players that didn't play together tonight, there was nothing really in the midfield from either teams. Casemiro was the standout. Gallagher has started well for Chelsea. And that's about it.
Enzo
he did.
Good.
Yeah, he did. And then obviously when they got forward, both teams looked dangerous. It was very end to end. It was such a strange game. Helly in the comments. Hello, Julio. Sorry, buddy. Fancy meeting you here. Casimiro, la la la. I'm not going to sing it, but you get the gist and get in there. Right, Freddie, that was a long conversation I just had with you there. How are you feeling, brother?
Very well, thank you. Hope you are too, Mark, and everyone watching. Look, very happy. Top four secured. I did have a little fear at the beginning of the game that we're going to do it the hard way. Possibly take it to the last game of the season. Thankfully, stress-free, so we can actually, top four on the trophy. I think if you offered that at the beginning of the season, most fans would have bitten your hand off. So it just sums up a fantastic season. A lot of hard work's paid off. There's been a lot of challenges on and off the field for the manager, but he's handled it fantastically well. And whatever happens now between the end of the season, it's been a success. It's a shame we didn't get another clean sheet, but we've got the Golden Glove. Rashford's got his 30th goal. Casemiro's returned to form at a vital time. The only downer tonight was Anthony. So real shame. Hopefully it's just looked worse than it was. One of those, because we do need him for the final.
Hopefully just a sprain. Obviously we've got what is it, the 10th? Is it the 10th? We play them.
10 days. We've got 10 days. I think
10 days from now. So
I think so. Yeah.
Whatever that is. So even it might be before that. I think my birthday's on the 5th. So the Sunday, isn't it? So the 4th. I think that sounds about right. May not return in time. Bit of a shame that. I think a few of the boys, Keane and Jamie, at the game, and they thought from their side, they were on the other side of the pitch, awful tackle. Obviously, we saw that kind of in real time. Wasn't too bad, but I think there was some sort of entanglement, the way that he landed and probably sort of almost caught his ankle a bit, didn't he? Shame. And I think we'll be really... miss him in the final for sure. Any player really. I know there's a few players we can name now, but I think he would have been major, and real shame there anyway. Freddie, no, I've already spoken to you. Sorry, bro. Kai, great to have you with us, buddy. I hope you're very, very well. Thanks for joining us. Penultimate game and all that. How are you feeling after that?
Yeah, thanks a lot. You couldn't just skip me. I could see you just wanted to go the black guys. No, the black guys today.
I've been waiting for you, brother. I've been waiting for you, and I was saying to everyone backstage, always fashionably late, but very, very good at what you do.
That's what I said.
I'm ready to hear what you have to say. Go on.
I said, don't worry about Kai. He'll turn up eventually.
I'll be honest. Mark said to me this morning, "Listen, if you don't come on the show, it'll be your last." And then he didn't say anything else afterwards.
Typical.
So,
I never said that. He's a little bastard. He's a little bastard. I never said that.
I had to come. I was here. But yeah, no, it's a great night, great performance. I think, look, I'll disagree on one thing. Chelsea are actually crap. I really think tonight we literally this was like a joyride. Just look at how Casemiro, he wasn't even taking it seriously. The man was just flying into tackles. He was just like, I've never seen him fly into so many sliding tackles, not win any of them, and essentially just stroll around again and whatever, because it was that easy. The thing is, Chelsea are that easy to break through everything. It was like, in our build-up play, in the second half, I think there was like 10 minutes of just us just breaking the lines so easily and just ending up in some sort of a chance at the end. So I think we just didn't care enough to stick to a lot of principles, and that made Chelsea look slightly better. But I have seen them in other games, and I'm still looking at them getting beaten by some really bad teams. And you can really see that I get what you guys are saying. They have good players. But right now, they're bad. We'll see them in the future, but right now, they're actually bad. They're bad. It's just bad. It's really bad.
I can see both points. I do agree with you. I think
I can see that. Yeah,
we did play half-heartedly tonight. I think we very much have one eye on the final. I think you're right. I think there was a lot of sort of rashness and allowed them to you sort of like chase them down, allowed them to play a little bit, and they weren't able to create anything. But what Stu's saying, and I agree with this too, you get 3-4 players in to fill those massive holes. And I think Chelsea would change massively.
No, to be fair, if you give Ten Hag to Chelsea right now, they'll be fantastic. That's
absolutely.
That's basically what you're saying, and it's true. Yeah, I do get that. But I'm just saying right now, what I've seen this season is like, and I hate it because it's almost like the players from Chelsea have given this sort of, they've almost given up. They've almost said, "Oh no, our situation's bad. All of us, it's all bad. Manager's bad. Everything's bad." And they've sort of just said, "Yeah, we can't get dressed all in the same changing room. Training is bad because there's not enough players, so we're just gonna take it." But for players which are that good, and if they had pride, I am so sure that there would be 15 players which will say, "Guys, listen, we're Chelsea, we're bottom half, we have to actually, we've got to play." Then, and that is the point which you're making, that they're not as bad as people make them out to be.
Yeah, I agree.
And I do think that sometimes maybe Frank Lampard before the game, he talked about training standards and all of that. It could be because me as a coach as well, I'm sure you guys have coached as well and seen, if it doesn't go right in training,
I'll just wing it, mate. Just wing it.
Well, yeah, but if it doesn't go right in training, then you see that on match day, there's certain habits, sort of like scoring, right? Because finishing is so important. It's very hard to score. So in training, if you're seeing that the players aren't when they finish, they're not upset. When they finish, they're not changing their technique. They're not changing anything. Of course, in the game, everything's going wide, everything's scuffed, when you're under pressure. So it could be a little bit of that, but I do think there's a lot of Chelsea players which have sort of just lay on this sort of thing, besides Thiago Silva, Azpilicueta, those guys have really put in a shift every time. They are sweating every game. It's like they're playing by themselves, So yeah. But otherwise, I do think with United, it was so easy that we created so many chances like that so easily. So it's hard to take so much, into this game, to read so much into it. Because I do think if we played exactly like this, even in the second half against City, we'll get beat, because it would just chance after chance after chance after chance after chance. So I do think in that sense, we're not ready from this performance to face City, basically,
Oh, we're not ready. We're not ready to face it. The interesting thing about Chelsea, Kai, which I noticed tonight, is they're quite an easy fix. They're not actually a difficult fix, really. And that is they got that Fernandez, who I thought was really, really good. I thought his
he's a good player
and his
he's
energy on the ball was great.
His pass before the goal, Stu,
was
the
tremendous.
technique,
Yeah,
he did something with the ball that was crazy.
He put a tiny bit of side and backspin on. I've never seen that done before. I don't know how you do that because to put side and backspin on is, I think, not impossible. But there you go. But when you look at Conor Gallagher, he has the ability.
Did he do the no look though? That's what I want to know.
Wow. Yeah. I'll teach him how to do that. Don't you worry. What I did notice about Conor Gallagher was he's actually got the ability to control the midfield as Casemiro does if he calms down on the football. And you had Mudryk and forgive me, I can't pronounce the wide guys.
Mukiele.
That's him. Yeah, they were too wide at times and then too narrow at times. They didn't actually know where they needed to be, and instead of playing just slightly inverted, which would have given Gallagher and Fernandez an out, so to speak, rather than giving Casemiro, as you quite rightly said, Kai, an easy night's play, and Eriksen an easy night's work, they could have been really dangerous because if they cut in and took the ball 10 yards off of Gallagher, 10 yards into the middle of the pitch, then their pace would have caused us so much more problems. And it's a very easy fix to do, really. It's really strange, really strange.
I think Pochettino is going to come in next year and he's going to just hit the ground running, and it's going to make it look like he's done an amazing job just from the base that they've come from. Like they'll get a few players and they'll get rid of half the squad, so to speak.
Well, that's my. I was having a conversation with Sean today. Sorry to interject, Freddie. Come in a second, obviously. I think teams are really struggling to sell players. United have been known for this, poor at this over the years, but I think teams are really struggling to sell. And I think that because the lack of financial power in foreign leagues, Spain, Italy, all of that, are struggling to buy players, I think that they're looking to sell and have a bit of a merry-go-round in the Premier League, a bit like Mount. Obviously been linked with us in the last couple of days. Up in the air whether it would be a good signing or not. But I think that that's going to be a massive problem. And we think we've got problems. And with FFP changing in the summer, it's going to be a nightmare for Chelsea. I really do. And for someone that's come in, is sort of getting used to the transfer market and how things are run, to sell and offload so many players that they've got to do, they're going to really struggle with that.
They've got to get rid of 12, haven't they?
Yeah. Sorry,
they're overloaded by 8. Maybe 10. That's an overload of a squad. You only want to be dealing with a squad of 22 to 24, really, of immense quality. So they're overloaded by either 8 to 10 players, which means they're going to have to move 12 to 13, maybe even 14 players out to get the quality that you're talking about to come in. He's got a major headache as Pochettino and Chelsea. And so have we, by the way. We've got an equally bad headache. If we are after and want Kane, we want Mason Mount, and we want Declan Rice. If you believe what you see in the press,
honestly, take absolutely no notice of that until this takeover has happened. And with the amount that we have to sell to adhere to the FFP rules, 70% of revenue and all this, there is absolutely no chance of that. So do not listen.
What you'll find with a takeover is a bank will loan the club 200 mil. Prior to takeover, and that's your cash for your spending for the summer. That anybody would do that anyway. It's no issue. It's a done deal. That would be, and then whoever does a takeover pays that back in full once the takeover is done. So you can always lodge an escrow 200 mil. Bank of America would do that quite comfortably. But it's our outgoings that are going to be the problem for us, because we've proven over the past 5 years we can't sell for toffee. We just can't sell anyone. We don't cancel contracts. We don't do anything in terms of selling. So that will be Ten Hag's biggest frustration, is actually saying, here's 5 players I want out the door, which we want money for.
But Stu, at least the nice thing though this time is with Ten Hag, he hasn't been too quick to sort of give contracts to people that don't play. Because that's we were taking the other route where we're like, ooh, his contract's almost out, so let's offer him one in hopes that he comes and his value comes, somewhere, and then someone comes and signs him, and then they normally get injured in the transfer window or somewhere close to there, and then we're stuck with that same guy who doesn't play for the next 5 years after that. And we did that, with so many players. So I think now Ten Hag has at least been sort of a bit more coy about it and said, all right, cool, I'll wait a little bit and see, which players actually I want to be part of this, project. So at least we have that small thing happening.
What do you reckon, Freddie?
I think our wages are just too high. We just a long history of overpaying for mediocre players, and then you just can't sell them on. It's simple as that. And we, previously we had Matt Judge, probably the worst negotiator in football. It was just a combination of the two. So I think we're slowly moving away from it. Like you said, we're being clever and strategic with who we reward contracts to. But it's a long-term process. So yeah, it's about instilling culture. Time will tell. It's interesting to see that they haven't given De Gea a contract yet, and even Rashford as well. So whether that's the start of a change in strategy, I don't know. But it's always going to be difficult for the bigger clubs to sell because we rarely sell players when they're at the top of their game. Usually they're on the decline or they're just sub players. And B.
Also, players find it easy to just stay at United because they feel like I think they need to change that culture. That also the player needs to feel like, okay, I need to play well so I can get a new contract. Because a lot of our players don't really. If we were to follow that logic, you will actually notice that it does not track well for us at all. Because performances have not been linked to contract extensions at all. So now at least, if we have our players on the other side saying, all right, cool, we need to play for our contract and our club doesn't give contracts for free, then that would be a lot better. Like you see at Real Madrid or whatever, like players are begging for their contract because they're playing well. So they really have to go over. Even Makelele had to almost cry and they didn't give him his contract. He was at the top of his game. So, it's one of those where I think as a culture, if we want to be a big club, you have to do the city. You have to be like, hey, you're not happy. All right, see you later. And that sort of a thing. So, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, do you know, it's another thing. If you look at Liverpool, apparently their bases are relatively mediocre, but they're all performance-based bonuses. Salah's not on one of the biggest players in the league. He's actually, I don't think he's on one of the biggest contracts in the league, or not until recently anyway. Whereas it's been the opposite for us. We're giving Sancho 350, De Gea by far, the most expensive goalie in the world. So maybe that's a change, more performance-based rather than guaranteed.
It needs to be that way. I think it always should have been that way.
Yeah.
Certainly with younger players, when you look at Garnacho, I know we were only paying him 30 grand a week, but I mean, Jesus Christ, 30 grand a week for a 17, 18-year-old. It's just stupid. It's just crazy. And this is why players go off the rails.
I think for a long time, we'll move back onto the game in a minute, guys, but it's a good conversation we're having. I think for a long time, knowing that Sir Alex had gone, United were definitely underhanded at this point. They had to show some sort of financial power to assert themselves in the market, and that's backfired massively. Of course, hindsight's a wonderful thing. You don't know, you can't account for those things, and I just think that's probably what's happened. And of course, you have the wrong people in charge at the time. And listen, in 2012-13, I know the summer was really poor, but when Ed Woodward was coming out and saying all these things, we're going to do this, you're all going to lap it up. We were all like, oh fucking hell, come on then, you know what I mean? But it just didn't work.
But you know what's funny, Marc? We were lapping it up, but it's funny because actually that was never our strategy, anyways. Like
no.
Like we didn't get raised in this. Yeah, of course, some of the signings were massive and they were big for their time and stuff. But for the most part, if you look at the amount of signings and the value we got for that signing that we got, like Pog Ji-sung, those type of the value that we got, the real, the title winning, the you'd think that those players cost, way more, but they actually don't. But we never did that. And then all of a sudden Woodward said, we'll sign players you've never seen before. And we were like, yes, give us Luis Figo, do it. Yeah. And we're like, but we don't do that. Like, So why are you going to hunt players down at?
You're right there, Kai. Dude, you're spot on, mate. Because we bought Park Ji-sung for 13.5 mil, didn't we? Something ridiculously tiny. And now I read in the papers yesterday or the day before that we're interested in Neymar, and then Ten Hag for once does nothing to even quash that, did he? In his presser, he didn't even quash it, and I'm like, for fuck's sake!
Nah. Listen. 100%. He's not going to answer those questions. Do not get excited about Neymar. He is not a pro. No, I even tweeted about it the other day.
I don't want him anywhere near us. Can you imagine?
It's not happening. The thing is, it was reported by L'Equipe. Okay, they are very hit and miss. They also throw United's name into the hat all the time, and they also are a mouthpiece for PSG. They are just trying to drive up the sale. Okay, so do not even.
But even in our peak, like we had one of the greatest managers, and in his peak, he's never going to sign a player like Neymar. That's when we enjoyed our football, whatever. But he's never going to do it because he's just going to use logic, and he's going to be like, I like to control things. I like things done this way. If I tell this guy something, is he going to do it? That's how coaches look for, their players. They go have conversations to see, are you prepared to do? And then they get the sense of the guy. You don't just send a scout and he does his thing and then you complete. So why would United fans get excited for something that wasn't even there in our greatest time and something that's clearly failed when we try to go for it? It's a very weird thing. So I'm very happy when we sign players like Malacia and we give him nice normal contracts, because I'm like, look at his hair, bro. He's playing like he cares for this thing. No trim, nothing. It's thick like mine, like here. He's just going out there flying into tackles. There's no, he knows that his time is limited. Like Ten Hag is looking at him every day, like, yo, and those kind of players are the ones that you want, which are always just ready to listen on their toes.
It's the strategy. Isn't it? You want hungry players, hungry players. This is what Ferguson was so good. It was just like a conveyor belt. Any minute they turned, he would get rid of them. So unfortunately, Pep does that, and that's why those two are regarded.
But with Pep, it's different. Because Pep says to himself, okay, I need my profile of player to be very, 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 very good, and also the best human being possible.
Yeah,
that joined together and that sort of connection that he has, I think that's the sort of thing we need. We need Ten Hag to be talking to his players. I like you're great. You're also technical, and I can see what I can get from you. Instead of all of this other nonsense.
I agree. And I think if anything, if the summer's anything to go by, I think that's hopefully the direction we're going in. Listen, I feel like we've taken a massive digression here, and I want to try and get back. So that's fine. Great conversation.
The game was too easy. Okay.
It was. But I'm going to give you some good little stats here, just very, very quickly, and then we need to do ratings because I need to get this started. So the most home wins for United in a single season was 27 in 2002-03, and we this season are 26. So get one more, and we get that equal that record, which would be really, really nice. Anyone's thoughts? Obviously, Casemiro, we will go into his detail. In fact, let's just do this player rating. So I'll give you stats and all that at that point. David De Gea, Freddie, I'll come to you first.
6. I don't think I can't really remember anything.
Couple of
good saves, all expected. I mean, straight at him. Got taken out by Pulisic. It was nice to see him give a bit back to him. I like that, and I know
he's a bit of a girly punch, though, wasn't
it? On that. Yeah,
a bit of a girly punch.
6. I mean, I couldn't do much about the goal, but yeah.
Great strike. That goal was a great strike.
It was a good goal. Yeah. Oh.
Can't hear you, dude.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
It's embarrassing.
What I was saying was, I'm sorry, it's been a nightmare tonight. You lot are bastard. No, honestly, I missed the Felix goal. I was in here, sorting the screen out, bringing it over here, and I missed it. So
yeah, he took it. It was a good strike.
Yeah, it was a good goal. Took it quite early. It was the first time no one's tried to like walk it into the goal basically, and he took it first time, or he ran from the halfway line, and brilliant finish. I think he caught everyone off guard. So I don't know why they don't play him. He seems to be their best attacker. Yeah,
weird.
Because he's also bad in some games. Like
he is, isn't
bad.
he?
Like
he has been.
How bad was Havertz's header? How bad was his head in the first half?
But the thing is,
choosing the best out of a bad bunch, isn't it? Really?
True.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, let's move on. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I'll give that to you, Kai.
Yes, give it to me, because I'll always give him a 10 every time. Every single time I'll give him a 10. All right, but 7.5-ish. I would have given him his full marks if after he chopped in, he had actually gone for the near post and he just finished it.
But it's a little bit frightened, isn't he?
But exactly, but it's annoying me because I'm like, dude, everything else you can do, everything else. But when you're in front of goal, he's had like 3 chances where all you just have to do is put it the other side. You've been a winger before, do something. But it's 7.5.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. One thing you're come to be accustomed with on this show, Kai, is we don't give silly scores. You know what I mean? We try to be as objective as we can be, and I think 7.5 absolutely spot on.
That's exactly what I just did.
No, perfect. I am just telling you that you did
Mark,
everything
you're acting
perfect.
like I don't watch the show. Yeah, okay.
I'm
How can
sorry,
you do that to me?
You know what? I've done almost 60 reactions this season, so you can forgive me for being a knob and all over the place.
Do you know what? It's the second game in a row. I said it after the Bournemouth game. You've seen him left wing for the first time. He's taken inverted very literally.
He is. He is.
I don't know what he's doing. And actually, Malacia then covered him.
Yeah,
exactly. It was a bit all over the place. Yeah.
I'd just like to point out, Kai's right. If he just popped it off with his left peg, he would have scored.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, actually.
He was one of our strongest players tonight. I was really impressed with him. I think he pressed well. There was a few points. Can't remember who it was on the left hand side. Colwell, I think. And he just went in and he almost sort of stood back because Aaron was going in and made it his, and just little things like that. Very tenacious and good performance tonight.
Yeah, I think for the goal which Casemiro did the no look, was it Wan-Bissaka that won the tackle?
I don't remember.
No, Casemiro on the tackle.
Casemiro won the
tackle. Yeah.
Because I think there was a sequence before where Wan-Bissaka won a tackle and we had a good chance as well. So he also did some of that.
Yeah, it's good performance. So I think, look, this is something we say every week now. I think we're seeing so much more from him and finally coming into his own. And I don't think his place is up for grabs at all.
It'd be interesting. You're hearing Dallo getting a contract and one of them potentially going. So it'd be interesting to see what happens.
Can't do it.
When
Wan-Bissaka stays for me all day.
Yeah. I think when you've got so many crucial positions, really, a striker's going to cost you at least 100 million, right? We probably need 2 midfielders. Goalkeeper probably isn't going to change this summer. I think that's a lot of money gone. Yeah. So I think right back, they're just tying down who we've got. And Dallo's not bad. He was fantastic before the World Cup. Wan-Bissaka has just pushed him out.
Final ball. No,
final ball. There is that. Right, let's move on. Stu, I'm going to give you Rafael Varane.
Yeah, I knew you were going to give me that one. He gets a 6.
Favourite.
He gets a 6 tonight. I thought he was average.
Really? I thought he was good.
His passing was good.
His passing was good, he was out of position on 2 or 3 occasions. No, he's a 6 for me, I'm afraid, guys. And Lindelof didn't score much better riser for me.
Okay, I'm surprised by that. I agree. After our first couple of chances in the goal, we looked awful for about 10-15 minutes. But I don't think it was that bad. But listen, I'm here to listen. And
for me, the two of them for the first time in weeks, lack composure. Mm-hmm. They were too far apart on occasions. They weren't close enough on occasions. Rafael Varane's position positional play wasn't great. His
Yeah,
passing, though,
I can
Kai,
see that.
you're right, mate. His passing was excellent tonight. And Freddie, I agree with you. But we were too disjointed, too disorganised. And that worried me. It just worried me a little bit tonight. So, as a centre half, if I was playing like that, I'd have expected a 6 as well, to be honest. But that's just the way I saw it. I'm more than happy to.
Mark, please give me Ericsson when you get to Ericsson. Thanks.
Okay. Well,
Sorry, I didn't mean to do Lindelof. Sorry, Aaron.
No.
Aaron,
Listen.
no, Freddie. Sorry, dude. Freddie.
We are going to skip Lindelof, and I'm going to skip Shaw as well because I feel like we've spoken to him. We've spoken about him a lot in recent weeks. So I'll come to you, Freddie, on Malacia and his second half performance.
Nothing stood out, I'll be honest with you. So 6, an average 6. I think back four, nothing really noteworthy. The line was a bit broken first half. Stu's alluded on that. First 20 minutes, they were just 1-2 balls through on goal, and we could have been a different game if they took their chances.
That is true. I did forget that, to be fair. So point taken. Yeah.
I mean, Malacia obviously came on second half. I'm a bit shocked. He got a yellow card, didn't he, for a scrap that I didn't really see what he did. I think it was Enzo pushed.
They both got a yellow.
They both got a yellow, did they?
Yeah,
okay.
they did.
Which I quite like the fight. So maybe I'll give him an extra 6.1.
It's the last time Fred's coming on here. I tell you. Last time Fred's coming on here. Right, let's move on to Casemiro. Stu, I'll come to you. My man of the match, obviously with the goal, great tackle, a great assist for the second goal. Good performance, wasn't it? And really back to his best, as we said earlier.
Yeah, he was. He looks refreshed. I thought he controlled the game really well in the midfield, but as Freddie and Kai both pointed out, it wasn't really a difficult place because Conor Gallagher, as well as I thought he played, and I did think Gallagher was really industrious today, he allowed Casemiro just to kind of, walk around with his pipe and his slippers on today. But that's a sign of a good player as well. It's a sign of a good player to be able to adjust to the type of game he's got. So I thought he was back to his best. I thought his header was phenomenal. It was a really difficult chance to keep down.
Yeah, got a couple of those this season.
Yeah,
difficult
chance to keep down.
Scored the equaliser with a header against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge.
He did, yeah. And I thought his overall play was good today. Back to his calm, controlling best. And we're going to need that a week on Saturday. Is it Sunday? I can't remember when the FA Cup is.
I feel like you guys are downplaying the fact that for the first time in a long time, a footballer was actually not looking when they made the no-look pass. He was not looking. He was looking straight ahead, and he passed there, which means it's the best no-look pass I've seen in 5 years. Because Roberto Firmino is literally poking the ball in the net while he's looking, and then he does that at the last minute. No, I'm not having it.
I can't believe he's just dissed me. If you were in Leicester Sunday, you would have seen the perfect no-look pass.
Against Dion Dublin Senior.
I was telling the lads, I was talking to one of our centre halves, my fellow centre half, and the ball came across to me, and I just played it off. And it wasn't a no-look pass. It was just that it surprised the hell out of me.
It was a no-look dummy that fuck all
bounced off the shin.
It was a heavy touch. It was a heavy touch, wasn't it?
It bounced off the shin more like it. You know what I mean? I was claiming a no-look pass.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest, right? We've not stuck to script at all tonight.
No, we haven't.
It's been really good fun, and I've enjoyed it, and I think everyone in the comments is as well. And those of you at Like, if you've enjoyed it, come back next time and make sure you're liking. Right, Kai, you're going to get your moment, brother. Ericsson, go for it.
All right. Now, if Ericsson plays versus City, it will be a cricket score, ladies and gentle ladies, women, whoever, 2023.
Yeah, whatever we are.
Heard them, thee, them, thy. All right? Because for everything. Oh, okay. Mark doesn't agree.
Mark
is too many pronouns for Mark. Too many pronouns.
I'm here. Don't worry. I'm just listening and creasing in the background. But anyway, go on. Carry on.
Were you busy sorting out like a press release? I'm not affiliated with these
I'm getting,
comments.
I'm getting phone calls.
Who's he
left,
down
right,
there?
centre.
Who's he down
Oh,
there?
yeah.
I don't know him.
Plausible deniability.
Right. Let's go back. Eric,
Sorry, Mark.
Sorry, Mark. All right. So I feel like for everything that Ericsson may do for us going forward, we are done if it gets to a position where we're playing the team with more possession and the team with this much more pace than us. And I saw that today in the times we're getting dominated, and I understand with the defense. That's why I was saying, please let me know about Ericsson, because I know that we're getting stretched in defense, but Casemiro was playing by himself. And
Yeah,
the thing is, when Casemiro gets beat, the first tackle, which he normally, well, not normally, but a lot of the times, once he advances, then he dives in. Once that is gone, there's no shield. There's like, it's not a pivot. It's nothing, right? And then it's just 4 defenders trying to find a position somewhere, or it's a 4v3 or something like that. And I feel like for the way we play, sometimes we're too risky, right? We leave places like the half spaces in the back left area where we can be exposed. So, and we want to be exposed there because that's how we play. Cool. But when Ericsson loses it, or if we lose it in that position, the pace, it even looks like they're attacking like at like 50,000 Ks an hour because Ericsson is not there as well. So it's for me, yeah. And I feel like today's performance, that's why we're dominated for long periods of the game, because there also just wasn't one extra midfielder there. So I'm giving him a 4.5 for his troubles. And it's only because I have to respect him. He's a very good player. I have to respect him. And I have to say that there are things we see in our midfield which cannot work if he's there. And that is Casemiro playing next to Ericsson and making Casemiro also look over 30, and then making Ericsson look over 35. And, those two things are just, yeah.
It's a fair point, Mellis.
Yeah.
And I love Ericsson, by the way.
Yeah,
I think he's great.
exactly.
I think it's a fair point tonight, yeah.
Yeah. Good points, well made. I know that we've chatted a lot of shit tonight, but we do make good points too. And Kai with a very good one there. Freddie, I'll come to your lookalike doppelganger. Some people say Bruno Fernandes.
Yes.
I've got to give him a 10 then on that.
Yes.
I'll give him a 7. I think he was good. A few good passes. I think he was trying too hard at some points. You could tell he was just getting a bit emotional, should we say? Like he should have scored when he hit the bar. Just too much power. He should have scored that. But he did win the penalty. He took it well as well. So you've got to give him a 7. Again, tack wasn't great. Great. And that impacted his game.
80% pass accuracy, 18 final third passes. If we had a fucking number 9 this year, number 9 this year, we would have banged in. So he's been unreal.
That first 20 minutes was a shambles. The amount of times where we were in, it was like 2-on-1, 3-on-1, and then the first touch let us down, or they cut in, or he could have a hat trick of assists in the first 20 minutes alone. So. Yeah,
mad. He was good tonight. I think he's one of our better players. I think 6 long balls completed, 5 balls.
That's why I think. Imagine you gave Bruno Haaland. That's why I think that pairing would be the most ridiculous pairing.
Same with Sancho
ever.
As well. Same with Sancho. You give someone like that.
Yeah, but think about Bruno. He doesn't ignore your run. Like once you've told him, "Hey, I will run and run and run no matter what," he does not even look. So imagine Haaland just getting through on goal every game. I will cry. But anyways,
look, you get Harry, you get someone like Kane. Kane scored 23 goals in a really poor Spurs side. Rashford scored 30 goals in a kind of poorish United side, hasn't he? Really, if you look at it for squad to squad.
4 months of good football in 7, right?
Kane's getting an easy 30 with Bruno in the side, Casemiro and Anthony. If Anthony can get his an easy 30,
and everyone else will. It'll be spread out. Once
because Kane will bring them in.
exactly.
Kane will bring them in as well, into play as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, totally agree.
Julia in the comments here, I don't know why Mark keeps worrying. This is box office and it's free. And also your likes and subscribes are free as well. So make sure you get in there and do us a favour.
Mark's the weekly armchair HR, head of HR.
I am, mate. Yeah, I'm gonna get in so much trouble tonight for HR non-complicit shit. But anyway, let's move on to well, we won't do Anthony. Sancho, and I'm just going to give you a few things first, and I'll come to you on this, Kai, if I can find them. I'm all over the place tonight. He didn't do too badly. We spoke about him recently, and obviously not being the explosive player that I think everyone has in their head that he is. 82% pass accuracy, 5 key passes, 3 grand duels won, 3 big chances created, 2 out of 2 long balls completed, 2 dribbles completed, 1 shot, 1 assist. Pretty good, I would say, tonight. What would you say, Kai?
You're gonna hate me. You're gonna hate me.
No, I'm probably coming down the same as you.
Listen, okay. So here's my thing with Sancho. Against anyone else today, he would have struggled with that exact same performance, right? Because it was too easy and it still looked laborious at some stages, right? And for me, I still feel like the more we focus on all the things that he's really good at and all the micro things, the more we miss the point that we need a team that has people that are sure of themselves, people that are title winners, people that want to win games. And until that happens for him, until that switch where it says, okay, cool, I need to make sure that more often than not, I do something with my pass. More often than not, I'm more aggressive with my man. Every single time the ball comes in the air, I will challenge my man because I need to be hungry. It's not about what profile I am or what type of player I am. I'm a Man United player, and there's other guys over there, and I will get a sub, and other players are doing better than me, even if I'm playing and all of that. So, yeah, like I said, today, the performance was the same as I've seen it. And just because he does other smaller things like big chances created, we created so many chances. Of course, he should have created a big chance. I mean, we touched the ball at United. And that's why I say the standards, we grew up with wingers at United. And when I see some of the micro things that people boil the game down to as to why we should support a player, then I say, do you support the team though? Because for the team, we grew up with guys that were aggressive on the side over there, on the left and on the right, guys which wanted to beat a man. Look at Garnacho when he comes on. I was happy. The moment he came on, I was like, whoa, time to eat over here, because the man is aggressive. There is no give me someone around me so I can combine. It is we're going together and I'm going to do something. And I'm sure I'm going to do something. And that's the difference. I'm sure I'm going to do something. And I'm also aggressive enough. So that's my monologue on Sancho, and that's why Sancho for me gets a 6.
Let me just add to that briefly, Mark. There's two things I would do if I was Jadon Sancho right now. In the summer, I'll work on my speed burst. So my 5-yard burst, as soon as I get the ball, I'd work on that. But secondly, more importantly, I would change up my game, and he doesn't change up his game. And so I would look to cross 20 yards out rather than try and do the step overs and get around your man. Do something different, because I thought I don't know about you guys, but I thought the Chelsea left back is going to be some player in a couple of years' time. I think he's a great player. I like him now, but he's going to be some player. Yeah, he's going to be some player in 2 years. He is. But he didn't really have Sancho tied down, but Sancho didn't really push his presence on him when he went across. And I think an early cross 2 or 3 times throughout the game from about 20 yards deep, so we can whip it in and around. Not that we got a striker, by the way. I just thought I'd point that out. But if he did mix up his game, then people wouldn't know what to do with him. They wouldn't have a clue what to do with him. The guy can play with 2 feet. He can play with his left foot as well. And he doesn't use his alternate feet enough either. So that's what I would do if I was him. But I think 6 is a fair score.
Yeah, absolutely right. Bruno Fernandes come out and said a few things, particularly for the United supporters, and obviously Keane and Jamie, our good friends here at Weekly Armchair, were there tonight, so I hope they had a great time. He said the United supporters have been amazing for us. We've won many games at home. They've been creating a great atmosphere for us. They know how important they are for us. We just appreciate all the effort. We knew we'd be happy also for Liverpool to not be there, which is not happening, but it's also about doing the best for ourselves. Ten Hag has gone on to say our defensive organisation was better in the second half. I think we could see that. In the first half, we had problems between the lines. Spoken about that too. It talks about Luke Shaw and Anthony injuries. I didn't realise Luke came off injured.
It's all back, apparently.
He didn't start the
right.
game, did he?
Yeah, Luke did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, you're taking the piss?
I was being facetious, yeah.
Okay. You bastard.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be
He had a bad game.
It's difficult to say. Let's wait 24 hours and we know more. I think we're in the right direction. We're still not there, but we are back in the Champions League. And if you want to be successful, you have to be in that. Next week is going to be big. Just on that, before we come to the last couple of players, obviously it's the last reaction this weekend. Obviously we'll be talking a little bit more there, but I just want to say to everyone that's kind of contributed this year, all the viewers, everything it's been really great and good fun interacting with you all year. And obviously last one Saturday, share everything, come in, get involved. Sorry, Sunday. Thank you. This is why I've got my right hand man Stu here. Get involved. Tell everyone about it, and I want to get a good collective going on Sunday because it's the last one, obviously, of the season, and it will be sad until next season, and then we go again. Right, let's get to. I don't know who to do really because I felt like we had so many subs, but then you had goals from the subs that didn't really play too well.
Martial.
Martial. Let's start with Martial. Go on, Freddie. Yeah.
Crikey. Martial.
I
Jesus.
don't know. I don't know how much longer he's got. I know he scored tonight.
Yeah.
He's running out of chances. I think he has run out of chances. In fact, he's just not good enough in my eyes. I don't understand why there's such a big following for him. He's been here now over 5 years. He scored, that was his 10th goal in 3 years.
Seven. I think he's been here 7 or 8 years now.
Amazingly,
7 or 8 years.
Freddie, amazingly, he's got 8 goals this season.
Has he?
I don't remember.
I know. Just double check, Mark. I know, Freddie. I get your look because I couldn't quite believe it myself.
I suppose at the beginning he came on, didn't he? He scored a few because his goal to minutes ratio everyone was raving about. It's just reliability, isn't it? It's the whole.
He's actually got 9 goals and 3 assists. 9 goals, 3 assists. That's 6 in the Premier League, 1 in the Europa League, 2 in the Carabao, and then 3 assists, 2 in the Premier League, 1 in Europa.
Hasn't Kai Havertz played virtually all season? He's only got 7.
Yeah, well, that is the top scorer, and that says it all for Chelsea. 33 goals they've got this season, which says everything you need to know.
You know what? I think Casemiro, I heard it earlier, Casemiro's got more goals and assists than any Chelsea player, and he's our defensive mid.
Yeah, he has.
That's bonkers.
Fred's got about 6.
But you know, Freddie, like the thing with Martial, it's quite interesting. You said that he has a big following. It's just funny because it's just the same culture as Jadon Sancho and as the newer players. People boil it down to very micro things. So they ignore the bigger picture of the game and they say because he's got this goals to ratio stat that looks like this, or this stat looks green in the 90th percentile, then the player must be valuable. But actually, it's also because they love them. They almost idolize them. So it's like, I love this guy so much that I can't. And it can't be possible that he can't play.
Clouded.
When the funny thing is,
football fans have got to change, Kai. Exactly. I agree with you. They've got to change.
But it should. You should, like, of course, you should feel for some players, but I feel like everybody feels so deeply for every player now that we almost forget that they also have lives and they also need to move on. And it's also the best for them. It's also the best for everybody when they make their decisions. It's very few times when, it's a bad thing and it's a bad ending, whatever. No, it's normally like, okay, this club came in 60 million. All right, I'm gonna go.
Exactly.
But everyone really feels like, especially United, and that's the thing at United.
It sort of goes back
loves
to the conversation we had at the beginning about selling players. We should have sold Martial a couple of years ago
Exactly.
when his stock was higher. I mean, we've got no strategy. Lingard, after he left West Ham, that's when you should have sold him.
Exactly.
You know, they could have got 30, 40 million. Martial was saying. So
would Pep keep Martial, even though he knows he has that much skill? He wouldn't have kept him that long because he can't use him that long. So it's logic. It's just like, hey man, you're a talented footballer, but you can't contribute that much. And I don't think if you can't handle United, there's no way you could have handled 4 attackers above you. That type of a vibe. So it's a culture, I think, at United. It just needs to change.
Exactly, and it's all relative. The way I look at it is he a league-winning striker? Would he get into the City team? Would he get into the Liverpool team? And so what? Yeah, I'd have to go very far down.
He's Everton level, isn't he? But Everton, a couple of years ago, I mean, Everton really, they're a top 10 side, aren't they?
Brighton, I think, would be fair.
Brighton,
but fit. But that's the thing. If he's fit and he's proper fit, like as in if he's Martial 100%, he can play on our team. Because then you can say, okay, you're always fit. So now we work on this thing over here. Then you get somewhere. But now now you're working against everything. Now someone's not in shape. Now he's got 3 injuries and he walks over his back in 10 minutes.
You can imagine if you, I mean, injuries have just
been
it's
tough. It is what it is.
It is a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Imagine when your profession is to be fit. Right, and you're coming back, you're trying to ingrain yourself again, you're trying to get back to full fitness, you're trying to then remember how you're playing with the team and everything else. Do you know what I mean? And actually putting that onto the field, it must be so tough.
Remember, he went to Sevilla, right? He went to Sevilla and he had how many games there where he was on loan and he had no pressure and no one was really watching. And it was tough because I think it's in here and it's the fitness and it's everything all together. And it's not having a coach in your most important development years, a stable system, So, I mean, you can't really blame him that much as well, because that's why it's taken Rashford years to be effective in a certain way, or that's why Bailly never developed into the player that we thought, because there's no coach, there's no real standards, there's no culture happening. So you kind of... You kind of get to that level and you stay at that level, and that's
where does common sense come into it, though, Kai? I mean, common sense and a personal will has got to outweigh. Yeah, and you're a coach. You're a coach. You know as well as I do. 90% of the coaching is all about making sure the player not only understands what you want him to do, but can take it upon himself to do more than what you want him to do.
No, it's true. I get what you're saying, but what I'm just saying is the problem is that if you have such an unstable thing at United, whereby you have a coach who doesn't, for example, Ole doesn't focus on specific things to improve you like that. He focuses on maybe other things, and that is what we missed. That modern thing whereby you're coached a certain way, a certain style of play, and our players didn't have that. That's why it's taken so long. That's why this season it takes so much effort to see a 3-5 shape or something, because they've had to really be trained. But Martial arrived at such a young age, and at that time, even Pogba, everyone just said, oh, Pogba, you're good, okay, you stay that good. But no one said, all right, work on this, work on how you do your body shape when you defend, work on how you do this stuff. And it's the same. Bailly, no one said, Bailly, listen, time to be serious. No nonsense. Don't be doing some random thing over here. Serious game. You do that, you're off. No one said that. It was just like, he's funny. So that's what I mean by the development years. We didn't have, we signed players that were young and talented, and then we didn't say, all right, here's what you can do with your talent. We just said, okay, please win us something. We're terrible. We're in the worst state of our lives. Please be the best player that you've ever been, but without the tools. And I'm just saying some of the blame has to go to how we handle some of those situations as we go, plus the player themselves as well. Because it's hard to tell a 19-year-old to take it upon himself to be better when someone hasn't really created the platform for them to also be better. A lot of United players take the flag, but they also really had a tough time at that time. But yeah.
Good points, well, mate. Can I just ask you a question, Kai?
Yes.
Do you do no-look coaching?
You can't coach that. You can't coach that.
No, you
It's
can't
natural
coach that.
ability, that
You
is.
can't coach that. I'm just being a knob again. But
that
anyway,
comes from within. That comes from within.
Natural
Comes within.
ability.
There you go. We'll have to get some live
Even I couldn't
images.
teach you that.
Yeah,
No.
when I shout at my keeper
Ability.
when we score a goal, it's a thing, bro. Like there's a no look, brother.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right,
Don't close your
listen.
eyes, Keeps.
I keep coughing. Listen, it's been good fun tonight. Obviously, we've come out ecstatic and all silly and giddy because it's a 4-1 win. We've secured top 4. We're now in 3rd position, and hopefully we'll obviously get that this weekend. You might see some of these faces again at the weekend. As I said, it is the last one of the season. Of course, we'll be keeping you updated, as I said, with all of the takeover updates, transfer news, that kind of thing. So we will be keeping going. But as I said, thanks for joining in tonight. Really, really appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribing, and we will see you next time. That was such a weird show. I
Marc,
really enjoyed it though. It was good fun, man.
Let me just say something, Mark. If I'm not in that montage at the intro by my 6th appearance,
I am
you're getting blue ticked from there.
Me too.
I'm desperate to get keen to change it
I'm
back.
not it.
And
I never noticed.
I'm not it.
no, we only had 10
I made the cut.
You know what? I
Half of Ireland in there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Not the big.
I was really pissed off when. Do you know what? I'm going to relay this back to him because I've said to him so many times. So many people have said to me that it's shit. I can't stand the music, and I want it changed again. But I promise we're going to get Tim to do it. Someone did it for us, and he was sort of new to the channel and comes on occasionally. I'm going to get Tim to do it. He'll make a really fucking good one, and I'll make sure you're all in it. Okay. I need a piss. I really need a wee. Honestly, I know it was a bit erratic tonight, but it was really funny and I enjoyed that.
It's good tonight. I enjoyed it.
It was good really fun. Cool, it's not as fun doing all the sort of subjective, keeping it calm, measured, and all that approach. But it was good fun. I could see Fred was getting agitated in the corner, but you're okay.
He's my favourite type of shows, mate. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, interesting thing is, Mark, I never actually gave Casemiro a score.
No, well,
I didn't get Martial one either.
I don't think anyone noticed at this point, guys. I'm really sorry. I've got.
I'm going to go as well.
Let me know if you're available on Sunday.
I'll be there Sunday. I'll be there Sunday. Yeah.
Fab. Yeah. Brilliant. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
love you.
Take care.
See you later.
Bye. Bye.